It's tail time.
What's going on, everyone? I am Gilflo,
I'm Lord Spleech.
and we are the Video Game Archivists, bringing you Game 13 of the Nintendo 64 Chronicles reviews.
Gecko 64, enter the Gecko.
Right. So,
Yeah.
this is an interesting one. So this was, of course, a platformer at the time. It's one of the biggest genres on the system.
Yeah.
Came from the 3DO, from the original one, and they tried to bring it into the 3D era because that system failed, obviously.
Yeah.
And we got this. So, tell me about your experience with this game, because you played it as a kid, I didn't.
Yeah, well, it's basically I rented it, and I know I rented it after Gex 3, but it's like I remember renting it and enjoyed the game. Like, I never got too far into it, but, you know, it's like I remember, you know, I definitely remember the hub world, which to me, it's an interesting hub world. As plain as it is, it's still interesting. Though, you know, I swear I remembered more areas where you can actually, like, you know, crawl over everything, because he's a gecko, so he can crawl. But it was more or less, I enjoyed it, you know, never beat it, but I still enjoyed it as a kid.
Yeah. So, Gex has some interesting voice lines.
Yeah.
Interesting, as in, I don't get it.
Yeah.
They're not really funny now. They weren't really funny then. Maybe as a young child that didn't understand.
And it's possible that, but at the same time, like, the only voice that got me, that actually made me laugh was when the space level, when it was, like, referencing X-Files.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, has anybody seen Fox Mulder's sister? That made me chuckle, but that's because I love X-Files.
Gotcha.
But other than that, it's like all these references, like, okay, when they talk about, you know, Rip Taylor or Boy George, like older, you know, celebrities and stuff like that, I'm like, the way they mention them, it's like, it doesn't feel mean-spirited, but at the same time, it just doesn't seem funny at all.
Yeah, no, I didn't get the humor in this game playing it. Obviously, I never played this one as a kid, so I don't have that nostalgia process. But looking at it, I don't think I would have. Maybe I would have.
Yeah, and the thing is, I remember him doing the quips, but I didn't remember the quips.
Yeah.
So it's like nothing was obviously memorable, and yeah, the humor of this game, it's like, at least when it comes to Gex's voice and everything, it just misses completely.
Yeah. I will say it's a very typical, generic platformer. I don't see much special in it, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think when it came to this game, one thing that helped sell it really well was its advertising.
Yeah.
And it was like advertising for the time, the 90s, so it's like, you know, it had a beautiful babe next to Gex type thing.
Yeah.
But even then, you know, it's like when you get into the games and see Gex's personality, it's like, okay, but...
Yeah.
And yeah, as far as gameplay controls, it's like, yeah, it feels decent and everything.
Yeah, I'll give it that. Like, the controls aren't bad. The camera...
I would say the cameras are actually pretty decent. Like, it's definitely, in my opinion, better than Super Mario 64. I was ready to say the other one. But the fact is, yeah, it doesn't have the quick, you know, hit a button once and moves so many degrees type thing. You can rotate it around. Though, depending on the level design, it either will be easy or it will be annoying. And there are some levels that do not work with the camera.
Correct, yeah. There are certain... And the levels aren't the same. Like, they are very different. They all have a little quirk to them, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Which changes the way the level plays, and some of them came out really good. Some of them, on the other hand, are just bad.
Yeah, like the circuitry, especially the first
one, yeah.
The first circuitry is like, oh, it has this stiff corridor and everything, but the camera wants to, you know, as the camera tries to follow you, like, it isn't the worst, but it isn't great either. So basically, when you have bad level design, you know, it's like the camera is like forcing into these weird angles where you can't see anything.
Like this.
And this one, but I think you were forcing it, to be fair, because I don't think anyone would climb that. And, well, maybe as a kid you might have climbed it.
So, anyway, so there's no real file select. You kind of have to just
enter you load game. You literally start off at an empty, you know, you haven't done anything, then load. But the game also had password as a holdover from the previous generation, just in case you didn't have a memory card.
Yep. There we go. So there's TV show references in every single one, or movie references, but they're not good.
Yeah,
It's like a bunch of references, and that's what I was talking about, the humor of the game, but they're not good at all.
Yeah, I mean, obviously when it comes to the levels in general, they do the generic as possible for the most part. Most of the references are in the lame jokes.
Yep.
You know, if you can call them that. But even then, like, the closest one that the level specifically had a reference of the ones we played was Titanic.
Yeah.
Which was an underwater level that was serviceable but boring because
it was just air.
The swimming control wasn't bad, but it just seemed bigger than it should have been.
Yeah. The one thing I will give this game credit for is the final boss. It was a very interesting final boss. But the problem with the game, another problem with the game overall, is the hitboxes. Like, we were getting hit when
we shouldn't have.
Nothing was there. So, my opinion, what makes this game not a good platform, and I don't recommend it, is your camera and your hitboxes. So with that being said, that's all I got to talk about on it. We can get right into the scores.
It's basically. I will say a little bit more on the bosses, just real quick.
Yeah.
Is
Kung Pao Chicken.
Yeah, the Kung Pao Chicken. But the fact is, the first two bosses seem, simple, gimmicky. The boss that should have been exciting, which is the Godzilla-inspired one,
it's just a hit sponge.
It's a hit sponge, and it's boring, which is unfortunate true of a lot of Godzilla games, unfortunately, but,
Yeah. I can tell you 3 hours we played this game, I disengaged and did not enjoy it.
Oh, yeah.
So, maybe some people have some nostalgia for this game and like it. Anyway, let's get into the scoring.
Yep.
So, 100 being perfect, 50 nothing good or bad, just kind of meh. 1 being Superman 64. There's a little bit of foreshadow.
Which I technically did already foreshadow that earlier when I accidentally mentioned it.
And everything in between is either good or bad. Right into the review. So nostalgia-wise, Spleech gave it 71. I gave it 75. I think back in the day it was okay.
Yeah,
it was good. I don't think anything of it. I just think this game aged very badly.
Oh, definitely rusted. Because nostalgia-wise, it definitely was a serviceable platform. And at the day, with your options and everything, unless you were only playing the great ones, it was just more or less okay. We had fun. It was enjoyable. It didn't feel like a waste of your blockbuster rent.
So how much did it rust? Ooh, 55 from Spleech and 59 from me. I'm sorry. Yeah. Sorry for you Gex fans out there. I don't like this one.
Yeah, and basically, I just kept thinking, I remember enjoying this game. And I know I held on longer than you did.
Yeah.
But after a while, I was like, okay, I'm not going to try to collect enough remotes.
Yep.
Okay, the game's main collectible.
Yep. And, we put cheat codes in this, but not just to play the whole thing, just
we
to see the very end of the game. That's all we would care about.
Which was taking advantage of the password. So, literally, the cheat code wasn't a cheat code. It was literally, here's all your progress in, one little code.
So, and with that, that ends up being a 65 out of 100, which puts it at a okay game.
Yeah, okay meh game.
Yeah.
And I will say, definitely deserves the meh.
So let's look at pricing for this game, and I'll let you actually know if it's $10 or less, sure, buy it.
Yeah, why not? Just to try it out.
It's not going to hurt anything, but
it does make me wonder how the Gex 3 is going to play now. Because I remember actually beating that one.
We will find out in time, sir. All right, so Gex Enter the Gecko is $14. That's overpriced.
Yeah.
And with that, we'll catch you next time.